We know that already, but whatever. Matrix Gash, her shop's called the Jackpot. Not very imaginative, I know. She's always had the hottest programs, best chips, and made some killer decks for anybody willing to pay her rates. I cost plenty of million, but she was one of the best in the business, at least in Hong Kong. If you want to know more about her, you should talk to Zippy. He's one of the only people around here who got along with Magpie. You can probably find him by the MTR station. He loves the steamed bun cart over there. Decker, I know. I'm a Decker. I used to be a company man for years, pushing code on their servers, smearing the little cyber pukes that would try to get into our secure systems. I made a pretty good living, had my own place on the 48th floor in a corporate skyscraper. It was the kind of thing the Sims teach you everybody reaches for, the dream life. So what went wrong? I found out the company wasn't what I thought it was. Should have paid me well and kept me in creature comforts. But I accidentally looked over some misfiled reports while cleaning out a company data store. Turns out one of the company's security riggers had gotten drunk and blabbed about some project or other being over budget and behind schedule. That's not good. It'd be a fireable offense, right? Well, I guess upper management was worried that info would hurt their stock ratings by a fraction of a point or two, so they fired the guy with a .308 round right through the skull. It does seem drastic. May only have been fractions of a point, but that was still tens of millions of million. I guess that went beyond a firing offense directly into murder territory. What's worst, since I now knew about both the project and the murder, I could be next in the firing line. I knew I wasn't worth the expense to hunt down as long as I kept my head down, so I came out here looking for like-minded deckers. I guess I ended up staying because I could get a semblance of community out of here, and I couldn't get that many other places. See you later, man. So, will you let me in now? There was that option, but I figured I would still have that option after I asked other questions. God damn you, Zippy. Allow me inside her shop. God, whatever. I can maybe go back to them and talk to them about the things. Oh, there's a guy here. Excuse me? Where are you? Demergo. Let me guess, you're the freelancers the elders are paying to look into the murders around here. How'd you know? Glasses with purple in them. It just never lies. You've got the right kind of eyes, like you're looking for something, and I don't seem to trust anyone. Outsiders don't generally wander around Wamboa Garden without an escort. Locals don't make them feel too welcome, unless they've been invited. There's only one reason to be inviting Shadowrunners out here. Call me Demergo. I'm not one of the Wamboans, but I've been here long enough that they don't think twice about me being here. So what have you found so far? Awfully curious for a random guy. Professional curiosity. I used to be with the New York Police Department as part of their thaumaturgical research division, part of the CSI branch, except I didn't the magical investigation while the other guys pulled prints and checked blood samples. Yeah, when I hear about shit like this happening, I keep my ear to the ground. Old habits, you know. Why aren't you investigating it? Elder NG asked me to look into the killings after the first murder. She couldn't afford my fee, though, so I took a pass. It's not just the money, either. You see that stuff day after day, you pay a price. It eats away at you. You trying to stay sane, boy? You know what it's like to feel all that sickness and anger every day? To be asked to pick up a murder weapon and relive somebody's death? Feel it going into your neck? Pleading in the voice of a dead woman for her killer to spare you? These days, I'd rather interrogate the living things. That sounds awful. Awful? It's more than awful. It's a goddamn nightmare is what it is. One I couldn't wake up from after a long time. Sometimes you have to cut and run, start fresh. At least now I can pick my own jobs. I can read objects, it's called psychometry. A little trick I managed to pick up. I don't really know how. I hold something, I can tell you what happened to it, who owned it, how it killed someone, if someone loved it or was afraid of it. Useful, but it'll tax your heart. And before you ask, no, I'm not going to read anything you find. I already told NG I didn't want any part of this. You want advice? I'll give you that. But I'm not getting drawn in further than that. So aside from that, is there anything I can help you with? This. I don't know much. Even though I've been here almost 2 years, I'm an outsider. They don't really accept anyone who's not as much of a technot as they are. I'm just a crazy mage that lives down the road. IP's got some heavy-duty cyberware, basically an enforcer for the rest of the council. He doesn't seem to set much policy. NG's a shaman that worships machine spirits. It's all a bunch of hokum if you ask me. Magic is magic. Whatever you want to call the source is fine by me. But don't ask me to believe in the great spirit of electronics. As for everyone else, they tend to be an okay bunch. A bit strange, but that's fringe culture for you. They scrounge tech, rebuild it, sell it off. Some of them even have their own auto-fab shops. Their stuff's pretty high quality, too. People from all over Asia come to shop here if they need something rare or unusual. Tight-knit little community, all things considered. He started a couple weeks ago. Elder Gan was the first to go. That's when NG asked if I could look into them. He was ripped apart. Arms wrenched out of their sockets, skin flayed away with a razor-sharp knife. The rest have been the same. Whatever did it, sure, didn't care about being a clean death. The funny thing is, the Hong Kong police force was out here a few weeks before that, maybe a month ago tops. I know that doesn't seem like much, but the Wampo ones don't usually let the police in here. That by itself is odd enough, but it gets even stranger. The officers were loaded for bear, too. Big guns and heavy armor with NBC seals, the works. They went into the parking garage near here, and there was some kind of gunfight. Never made it back out. When backup showed up, the Wampons chased them away. That's exactly the kind of question you should be asking, and that the elders refused to answer when I asked. Go take a look for yourself if you want. Watch out, though. A gang's taking up residence in there, dealing drugs and BTLs. They call themselves the Red Spear. Not too violent if you don't push them, but be careful what you say. This. No, that's not what I would have expected. With the amount of mess at each scene, the victims should have left behind a hell of a lot of fear and pain. Are you sure? Then it sounds like this wasn't a crime of passion. A planned attack would have had that kind of resonance, in my experience. It's possible the gore show is to throw off anyone looking for the actual reason. Yeah, if I wanted to kill someone and get away with it, I'd try to point the finger at some kind of monster. Only if you're not a monster. Basic investigation 101. It's usually the simplest explanation, but don't discount other possibilities. It's a possibility. Ask yourself, though, if the mutilation happened after Tong's death, why would a killer perform that kind of ritual? He either hates the guy, wants to send the message, or maybe, as you mentioned, wants to throw people off. Serial killers who engage in that kind of ritual don't feel perfunctory about it, in my experience. It tends to feel more like they're taking a communion. It's a religious or sexual feeling for the most of the time. If this didn't feel that way, I don't think the killer is actually pathological. I agree with you. What time is it actually? My goodness, this is taking a long time. I'm not sure I'm going to finish the mission, not because I'm going to run out of time, kind of yes actually. I'm recording this at the very last minute and I don't have that much time if I want to also edit and render the thing. So I'm giving myself 40 minutes and we've got less than 10 minutes. I don't think we're going to solve that murder today. It's unfortunate. Interested in you in some dango, takoyaki, maybe a nice nikuman. That's a pork butt with a Japanese twist. Any kind of tasty Japanese treat you can imagine, I've got it. Maybe some curry fish balls at your speed. Cater will give you your heart's desire, providing that your desire is on that menu. I mean, I could try it. Your wish is my command, sir. So what brings you to One Power Garden, my friends? Somehow I doubt it's just the street food. Maybe he's gonna help me if I tell him about it. Oh, I've been hearing a lot about that. Haven't looked too closely though. It's just none of my business, you know? We're tech heads, deckers, riggers, trid pirates, and everything in between. Even cook, apparently. If I had to define this place, I'd say it's Asia's mecca for people like us. As for the elders, I can give you the basics. I'm a small fry, so we're not exactly on social terms. Ain't you some kind of crazy tech witch? She summons up spirits and casts spells and works as the spiritual center of the tribe. She's a lot craftier than she seems too. She has this mother to everyone act going on, but I've watched her manipulate people into doing all kinds of stuff they wouldn't normally do, and they thought it was their idea the whole time. Magically, you mean? I don't think so. She's just really good with people. IP's a killer, addicted to cybernetic implants. He always has to have the newest and freshest gear. The funny thing is, I've never seen him fight. I kind of get the impression he's a coward. He'd rather let one of his buddies handle the problem, do it himself, or, you know, pay someone to do it, like me. All I know about Tang is that he loves drones and does a little decking. Frankly, I find him kind of boring. All he talks about is neural networks, dark knowledge, and evolution of machine learning. Oh, like I said, boring. You like them? I love trade operas. Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Indonesian, it doesn't matter. This way I can watch all of my favorite shows without missing a beat, and I can work at the same time. You're an idiot. Pirate and trade is my other business. I rip the streams in the Matrix, tap right into the corporate feeds, and resell them on chip out here. I wish it could pay the bills, but my food card's a lot better at that. I don't know why, but most of the other Wampans seem to like Sim over Trid. Well, now their Sim guy is dead. They don't know what they're missing, though. One episode of 1,000 Cranes of Autumn, and they'd be hooked for life. I'm just at the part where Erin has confessed her love to Takayama, but he's got to get his mech suit out in the front lines and Moss, so he can't be with her. Downright heartbreaking, I tell you. I don't care. Sure thing, what can I tell you about? Murders? Yeah, ignore them. I saw the crowd at Tong's Sensory Carnival earlier tonight, but I didn't know the guy very well. I'm a Trid fan, he liked The Sims. Not a lot of crossover between us. Bye. You're not important enough to have a portrait. Do I go in there? No. I'm gonna go see if the elders have anything to say. And before, can you let me in, please? I want to see the magpie. I'm gonna go ahead and guess no, and that's why it's not coming back. Screw you, Zippy. Just so you know, screw you, Zippy. Alright, let's see if the others have anything to say about magpie. Excuse me? I'm clicking on the thing. Thank you. No one seems to be around here. Oh, there's a person. Rainbow! You sound like an interesting person. Hello? A shotgun. Something I can help you with there, friend? You're throwing off me game and I'm trying to bet my best score. Go with that. I mean, neither managed to find this one near by accident, but I heard the music and thought, hold on there, Rainbow, you know that tune. Piss on your ma, a right robbery that was. Right then. They don't seem like them warm penguins. They're all a mite touched. Yeah, maybe you are too, but you don't advertise it like they do. What's your story? Murders. Oh, that's some nasty wet bodies hacked up. Chunks bitten out of them. Make sure you load it for something big and ugly, that's for certain. Good question. Born and raised in Dublin, down on the banks of the Liffey. Spent most of me early life there and working security on sacred places. You know, historical sites are undeveloped land. The Grey movement was big in those days. It was a bit like being a park ranger, but sure didn't beat it. It beat some dead-end desk job. Spent a lot of time around County Dublin and Wicklow. I always loved animals, and I found out being a ranger put me in close with them. It was a good time, yeah, making sure the budding new species like the bogies and centaurs didn't upset at the ecology of Wicklow National Park much. I also kept the nasty bits from the from running amok across populated areas. Whisker. I was not too bad on my first try, especially since I hadn't read it previously. Isn't that a demon horse? Ah, that's right, the cat of a horse's pace. I claim hasty barkers that drag people in bogs and around you. Sometimes people call them kelpies on account of the water plants they pop out of. Anyway, I was saying, the problem was I started to develop this weird act, just a small thing. I keep magic from working when I'm around. Spells don't go, spirits fall apart, and the pair critters get real feisty, yeah? To make things worse, this was around the time Liam O'Connor threw his coup and formed Tirananog with all his fancy talk about elves and ancient magic. It was a bit scandalous to have a woman guarding ancient sites that wasn't just mundane, but also killed magic around us. I got fired. I have to say though, you're an elf, aren't you? Bang on! I don't look a day older 25, do I? I'm Irish. I'm not one of them noggin spank for punters. A lot of them always going on about the ancestral lands and the glory of the past and all that bullshit. I saw them kick dozens of old Irish families off their land just because their ears weren't pointy enough, or they didn't meet some stupid arbitrary criteria of old nobility. It was a kind of thing that brought back the IPA, just like the bad old days of the Troubles. The Skevers and the New Tour didn't pay for the land they took. They just had a pack of bullies with guns. I've always been sympathetic to the little guy in a fight. They offered to pay for my help, so I said yes, simple as that. Bluntly put, I guess yes, that's a terrorist. Don't be so dramatic. They fixed me up with a cyber stitcher and gave me a lot of the kit I've got in me now, in exchange for going overseas to work for them. Smuggling, running guns, making contacts in Europe, that same kind of shit all revolutionary groups do. Seeing as how me own fam got kicked out of their house, I was glad to do it. I still do work fam these days, but there's a lot less of it. Lady Day cracked down on dissidents, but good. So what are you doing here? Man, I'm a bit of a big game hunter these days. I get into strange places, looking for some kind of pear critter I've not seen before, and then I put a bullet in it. Only the nasty ones though. No point hunting a tailless cat as such. It's only things like gargoyles, barkists, and whatnot. All the work I did with them in my youth does a good job of keeping me alive. I was out in Jakarta last year. I'm hunting one of them Indonesian vampires. You ever heard of them? Call them Liak or Penanggalins, depending on who you ask. They are hells and guts come out like the bloody coyote, and they fly around like a giant mess of pile of pasta. Took me a solid 2 months to track it down, but I did. Once the job was done, I asked myself, okay Rainbow, where's the best place in East Asia to find some action? So Hong Kong it was. All the chi wards here mean a bigger concentration of odd critters than you'd usually find in a city. Been spending a lot of time down in the storm drains these days. I heard rumors of a rat king down there where a mess of devil rats get all tied together into some kind of big awful rat beast. Haven't tracked it down yet, but I figure it's only a matter of time, yeah? See you later, lady. You like your job. That's okay. Anything in here? Yes. Wing Cakewalk. Welcome, sir. Welcome to Quok Atelier, home of the finest clothing in the One Power Garden. I'm the owner, Master Tailor Wing Cakewalk. How may I serve you today? This is a French word, atelier. It means like workshop or something. Just saying. Then, well, I mean, they need to have a tailor somewhere. Many people don't. There's a mistaken impression that we Womboans are only interested in technology and the Matrix. But even technologists need clothing, don't they? And many of us gravitate towards lines of work where added protection is required. I myself am a materials scientist as well as a keen follower of fashion trends. What kind of materials? Fiber related, of course, primarily aramid fibers, graphene composites, and dilatants. It affords me a certain unique perspective when designing clothing that is not only beautiful but defensive as well. I specialize in high fashion body armor, similar to the kind crafted by SecureTech of Fashion Island, but with a much more personal touch. I don't have money. Goodbye, lady. Alright, elders. Magpie. What's going on with that? Is there anything we can do for you? Simplicity. This. First. We generally don't let the police into Wampo Garden. It's true. But in this case, we made an exception. The police were very polite and offered to look the other way over some of our deals with the Loho Jawa pirates. They also made it clear that if we refused, they might not only take an interest in our deals with the pirates, they would call in the Special Duties Unit and force their way in. We have repelled the Hong Kong police force before. When they've tried to push us around, we could probably drive off the Special Duties Unit as well, but the cost in blood would be too high. Since they weren't hunting a Wampoan, we saw no reason to refuse their request. Who were they here for? They didn't say, and we didn't ask. The HKPF isn't exactly forthcoming about their business, and we've found that the less we know about their interests, the safer Wampo Garden is. When you take an interest in the police, they return the favor. As far as I know, they went into the parking garage, there was a gunfight, and the police never came out. More showed up a few hours later, looking for their missing officers. We didn't let those in though, we just delivered what was left of the bodies to them. Why not? We were willing to allow the group of 4 in because they asked politely. When the reinforcements arrived, there were over 30 of them. We couldn't risk the rest of the police setting up camp in our streets. It would have been a circus and disrupted our lives and businesses. This one. Why would we have her departure from the Wampoans? Isn't related to your investigation? It happened before the killings began. I'm certain she's just off sulking somewhere. No doubt she'll come waltzing back next month, all full of attitude that life dared to go on without asking her permission. If she does, we'll welcome her back. Despite our problems with her behavior, her skills make her extremely valuable. I've taken over maintenance of our Matrix infrastructure in her absence, but I'm nowhere near her level. The best I can do is ensure nothing breaks down until she returns. This. Yes, but there's a lot of sensitive equipment here, including our community servers. We don't let anyone who's not one of the Wampoan elders in there. Why would you need to look around? I'm just 1 point short of that. That's just really annoying. Incredibly annoying. Oh my goodness. Can I find karma somewhere in here? Jeez, I have $60. Okay, you know what? Next time, we're going to be looking for a karma point. Until then, see y'all.